The night was cold and heavy with silence when the young heiress stumbled through the dust of the desert trail, her once elegant gown torn by the brambles she had run through, her hands raw from clutching her skirts, as she fled the mansion that had always felt more like a prison than a home. Her name was Evelyn Sinclair, daughter of one of the wealthiest landowners in the territory, but she would have traded every cent of her inheritance for just a taste of freedom. Her father had promised her hand to a cruel and ambitious banker twice her age, a man whose cold eyes had lingered on her like a hawk circles prey. And when the wedding date was set, Evelyn realized escape was her only chance at life. She ran until her feet blistered, until the stars burned overhead, and when her knees finally buckled from exhaustion, she found shelter in the most unlikely of places, an old, abandoned wagon at the edge of the canyon. Its wooden boards creaked as she climbed inside, and the smell of weathered oak and dust wrapped around her like a blanket. There she lay down, her chest rising and falling with the rhythm of fear and relief, whispering prayers that no one would find her before morning. Yet fate had other plans, for while Evelyn tried to rest, another soul was riding those trails. A man hardened by the land, yet softened by a heart too big for his own good. His name was Caleb Hart, a cowboy known for his quiet strength, the kind of man who spoke little but carried loyalty and honor like a badge across his chest. He had been riding the canyon paths looking for strays from the herd when he spotted the wagon, a silhouette against the moonlight that tugged at his curiosity. With one hand resting on the handle of his revolver, Caleb dismounted and stepped quietly toward it, boots crunching softly in the dirt. Pulling back the weathered flap of canvas, his eyes met a sight that froze him in place, a young woman curled up, trembling, her face streaked with tears, her dress torn, her beauty shining even beneath the layers of exhaustion. Evelyn startled awake, gasping, ready to flee again. But before she could bolt, Caleb raised his hands slowly, his voice gentle as the evening wind. "You're safe now," he whispered. And in those 3 words lay a promise that carried more weight than 100 vows, spoken in church. Evelyn's eyes searched his, wary yet desperate to believe, and though fear battled trust within her, something in his gaze, steady, kind, unyielding, told her she was not looking at another captor, but a protector. Caleb offered his coat, wrapping it around her shoulders as the night's chill nipped at her skin, and then handed her a canteen of water. She drank greedily, her parched throat aching, while he knelt beside her, never pressing, never demanding her story. When words finally spilled from her trembling lips, silence, jaw tightening with every detail, for he knew the kind of men who treated women like property, and nothing in him could stomach the thought of handing her back. "You don't have to go back," he said finally, voice low but resolute. "Not if you don't want to." And for the first time since she had fled, Evelyn felt the stirrings of hope. The hours stretched, and as dawn painted the sky in shades of rose and gold, the cowboy helped her to her feet. Together, they walked into the new day, the wagon fading behind them like the shadow of a nightmare. Evelyn felt a strange courage rise inside her, a courage born not from wealth or status, but from the certainty that she was no longer alone. Caleb didn't promise riches or titles, only freedom and safety. Yet in that moment she realized it was more than she had ever been offered before. Their journey would not be easy. The world would hunt her. Her father's men would come, and the road ahead would be long. But with Caleb at her side, she carried a fire within her that no fear could quench. And as she glanced at the man who had found her in the ashes of despair, she knew the story of her life was no longer written in chains, but in the wide-open sky of the frontier. Viewers, if this story touched your heart and made you believe in courage, hope, and unexpected love, make sure you subscribe to this channel, because more powerful tales like this one are waiting to inspire you, and you won't want to miss them. The rising sun spilled warmth across the desert as Caleb led Evelyn away from the abandoned wagon, his steady stride a stark contrast to her uncertain steps. Each mile they put between her and the mansion felt like a piece of her old life. breaking away. Yet fear still gnawed at her. She could almost hear the pounding hooves of her father's hired men behind them, hunting her down like a runaway horse. Caleb seemed to sense her unease, glancing over his shoulder every so often, his hand never straying far from the revolver at his hip. He spoke little, but when he did, his words were like anchors in the storm. "You've got grit," he told her, handing her a strip of dried meat. "Most folks wouldn't have made it half a night out here." Evelyn gave a small, tired smile, her heart strangely lighter each time. He acknowledged her strength rather than her weakness. For once, she wasn't being treated like fragile porcelain. She was being seen as someone capable of surviving. By mid-afternoon, they reached a stream tucked between rocky cliffs, its waters glistening under the sun. Caleb let his horse drink before refilling Evelyn's canteen. His movements calm, practiced, reliable. She watched him, the way his presence seemed to quiet the chaos inside her, and realized that trust, once lost, could still be found again. While she washed her face in the cool water, she caught her reflection, hair tangled, cheeks flushed, eyes wide with both fear and something new.